Greetings friends, today we've had 2 more Blood Angels releases, and while this is very exciting, I think it is also very telling on what we will actually be able to field in our new codex. So let's dive into the new releases, and then I'm going to show you the before and after comparison of basically what units are going to be in our new codex. So this is what we got to look forward to. Okay, let's get into the video. So, another exciting day for Blood Angels, and we are basically getting a new captain who looks pretty cool. He's got some blood drops and ornaments on his greaves. Let me get that right this time. He's got an infernal pistol. He's got the old sort of Sanguinary Guard style armor piece that we used to see in the tactical squads and even on the old Firstborn Blood Angels upgrade sprue. We've got a new little wreath type wing thing with a chalice, which is pretty cool, and he's also got the chainsword with some custom bits on that as well. And it's worth noting that he has 2 weapons that a normal captain does not have, which is the chainsword and infernal pistol, so he is probably going to have his own data sheet in the book. Now, the second character is our Sangary Priest, and I guess the most important thing I think you can glean from this is everybody was wanting the Sangary Priest with jump pack to attach to units. I think they're going to do the same thing that they have done with Mephiston, in that there is going to be no Sangary Priest with a jump pack, so this guy is not going to attach to much else potentially than Assault Intercessors, and maybe he could be with Blade Guard. That would be pretty cool actually, but he's probably not going to get a jump pack, and I think this is very telling. So, Blood Angels reveals more Heroes of Baal cross the Rubicon Primaris. So last week a shiver went through the spine of every heretic in the galaxy when the new Codex Blood Angels was announced alongside the box of Crazed Death Company Marines, including new miniatures for Lamartes, Astaroth, and what's more, the Black Armor Berserkers are not the only Blood Angels getting a glow up. And I guess what a glow up realistically probably means is when these guys go Primaris, they usually get maybe 1 more attack and 1 more wound. That is usually the trade over from Primaris. Now, we all know the Priest has a very good aura in terms of he boosts AP, and he has a 5-up Feel No Pain. If those stay, then he'll probably still be quite a good pick with Assault Intercessors, but it sounds like they make literally no mention of him in the jump pack, so I think if they were going to do the jump pack, they would have announced it or shown it at the same time. There is this new Primaris, I guess, like, rule that if a unit does not come with the said, like, weapon option or upgrade in their blister pack, then you're probably not getting it. So I think it would be safe to say Sangary Priest with jump packs are most likely gone. While all chapters maintain a cadre of apothecaries to treat wounds and recover gene seeds, the Sangary Priests of the Blood Angels have another duty. They control the red thirst that grips the sons of Sanguinius throughout their lives. Okay, there is a trailer, we'll put that at the end of the video again. So to embrace this intense and literal bloodthirst is seen as a mark of shame at all but the direst moments. The only Sangary Priest knows the rituals and ceremonies required to calm the terrible hunger for carnage until it is needed the most. So what's new about this guy? Like, he's got this hanging chalice with the blood drop and wings. He has an absorber bolt pistol or chainsword. I imagine you make him with a chainsword. He has a custom shoulder pad that is kind of nice. I think this is a variant of the medic shoulder pad with like the little blood drop and wings in there. And then he's got a few little blood vials. He's got like a little servo skull. And he's got a cape, so he's quite a cool, interesting model. I like his head well enough, but I usually prefer to put an actual helmeted head on my characters. And when this madness is held in check, the Blood Angels are the picture of nobility and dignity. The captain, who lead the companies of Baal, and their successors must be exemplars of the Emperor's finest, blessed with astonishing combat skills and a regal countenance to humble planetary governors. They're just trying to use words to trip me up. They know I'm bad at English. And then the new miniatures capture every bit of their carefully cultivated virtue. So I think the main thing to take away is he will have an infernal pistol. He is got a very cool chest piece. I wonder, here's the thing though, like, if we could get that chest piece on an upgrade sprue, I think that would be ideal, so we could plop it across a bunch of guys and you could almost rebuild that legacy Firstborn tactical squad, because that's kind of what these guys look like. I think this chest piece is basically a variant on the Firstborn upgrade sprue chest piece. The Infernal Pistol is nice enough of it. I mean, it's just a standard Infernal Pistol. The Chainsword is nice enough. We do have an awful lot of Chainswords. Fortunately, this guy will be able to be made with like a Power Fist and a Power Sword. This is a bit of an interesting piece. So this used to basically exist on the Death Company upgrade sprue, or the Death Company kit, and you could usually use it on their shoulders, or just to add a bit of decal to sort of a standard shoulder. So I kind of like this, and his ropes and his blood. I guess he carries some blood around with him in case he's thirsty. And a blood drop and a nice little couple of purity seals. So it's interesting. He's got the Iron Halo, obviously, as well, because he's got the invulnerable save. So the captain with distinct sculpted armor, similar to that seen on Commander Dante. He can be equipped with a variant of weapons, the iconic Infernal Pistol, a Relic Blade, a Chainsword, or a Power Fist. I don't think we've actually seen captains with Relic Blades. I need to check on that. I thought they came with Mastercrafted Power Swords these days, so I wonder what a Relic Blade actually is. Each arm also has 2 different poses, so you can pose them at the ready or in a more relaxed stance, and the kit includes like a bevy of heads, pauldrons, decorations, and other accessories. So this kit actually looks like it's going to be quite good. I suppose the annoying part of it is that it's just in a single miniature, so you're not going to get lots of bits. And this was the complaint about like the Death Company box set that just came out last week. The Death Company box set probably isn't going to have as many bits and pieces as we want, whereas this one actually looks like it's got a good number of bits and pieces. And again, I can take or leave unhelmeted heads. The paint job on this is pretty cool. So this isn't that custom a shoulder pad, but it's nice to see a backpack with an Iron Halo and also a blood drop on it. Again, the cape's cool, but nothing too unique, I guess, on that. What I think is most telling, and not that you would ever really arm one of these captains with I don't think you'd ever put a bolt pistol on a captain, but I guess you've got a bolt pistol with a blood drop on it, so you could bring that over to another model. You also have some sort of variant Sanguinary Guard head that is Primaris that we haven't seen before. So this is a head that is Primaris, that is basically like a death mask, but with hair and the Iron Halo. And this is super reminiscent of the model that was Tycho before Tycho became his own named character. And I think this is intended to replace that. Basically, like, if you look at this heraldry and this imagery on this character here, so if we go back to before Tycho even existed, this was basically, possibly at the beginning of 2nd edition, this was before I even played the game, so this is going back to 1994 or before. So this was a captain, a Blood Angels captain that existed before Tycho existed. So I guess when Tycho got his own model, this guy was phased out, and Tycho was sort of the captain that was in favor of this guy. But this comes from a classic piece of art, which if you look at it, he has the bolter, he has the wing on his shoulder, he has the Iron Halo, and he's the golden face mask. So this was the Blood Angels captain from many, many years ago, and he's so similar that I really think this is going to be the end of Tycho. I think that we have basically had, like, what, 30 years of Commander Tycho. He has obviously been dead in the lore for a while now. It makes literally no sense that he would go through the Primaris Rubicon, or the Rubicon Primaris rather. So they're going to replace him. And if you want to build this captain, and it's kind of a clever idea, right? Because most people that now want to buy this captain twice, because you're going to want to make your golden one. I'm not entirely sure who he's going to go with yet. But you're going to want to make your golden one as a homage to Captain Tycho. So for later in this video, when we actually talk about units being removed, I think we are losing both Captain Tycho and Tycho of the Lost. Tycho of the Lost even more so, right? Because there'll be nothing for him to attach to after they remove the Death Company in the new Codex. And then this guy is very cool. Like, the Power Fist looks significantly chunky and powerful. And I love these Blood Angels helmets with the wreaths on them and the blood drops. They're kind of one of my favorite helmets from Firstborn, but I think with the Firstborn, the wreaths are like, they're much more like poignant or sticking out. And this Primaris one is so slick with the wreath built in. I would love a sprue where, like, I like to use this helmet as the sergeant in each of my squads. I like to paint them. Sometimes I paint them gold, or sometimes I just give them a golden wreath or the green wreath. But I've used, like, through my Firstborn squads, I've used these helmets so many times. So I really like this captain. I like both of them. As I say, I'm not a really unpainted head. So both unpainted or an unhelmeted head kind of guy. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me anyway in 40k that you're running around with all these bullets flying around and you're not wearing your helmet, right? I wear my helmet when I'm skateboarding, so I was definitely going to wear a helmet in a war zone. Anyway, Both characters are going to be released later this year alongside the phenomenal new Codex supplement and other upgraded Blood Angels. So we're going to get a lot. So we're getting a Sangary Priest, we're getting a new captain. Like I said, this captain's probably going to have a new data sheet because the regular captain doesn't have rules for an Infernal Pistol, and they did tease, and I did see a tease, and it's not in this article, this captain painted black. So some people are thinking that there might be a rumor where this captain can actually be part of the Death Company, but there's also been a rumor that there's a Death Company detachment. So before we roll the trailer, let me jump into at what cost are we getting these new characters. And here is the cost. So this is what it looks like at the moment with the current index for 10th edition. We have Astaroth, the Baal Predator, Corbulo, Tycho, Mephisto and Dante, the Death Company Dreadnought, the Intercessors and the Marines for Death Company, the Death Company with jump packs, the Furioso, Seth, Lamartez, the Librarian Dreadnought, the Sanguinary Guard, the Sanguinary Priest, the Sanguinary Priest with jump pack, the Sanguiner, and Tycho the Lost. And that comes in at 19. Now here's the kicker. We already know that we are getting 14 in the new book, right? And with 14 in the new book, we're getting 18 in the new book. And we expect 4 of them to be in the combat patrol. That's the rumor. There is sometimes 5 units in a combat patrol, but I really think it will be 4. So if there are 4 units in the combat patrol, and bear with me because I think this is going to make a lot of sense, then we're going to get 14 units in our codex. Best case, we're probably getting 14. Worst case, we're getting 13. So if we were getting 14, what do we keep? Well, Astaroth's going Primaris. I think they're going to let us keep the Baal Predator. It's one of the few firstborn things. They haven't legacied too many firstborn tanks, so I think that makes sense. We're going to lose Corbulo. He's on a firstborn model, and we've just got a new priest. I don't see why they would replace the priest, but not replace, like, Corbulo, who is supposed to be, like, the high priest. So I think he's going to go, and you can't buy him anymore. He's been discontinued for a while. So has Tycho been discontinued for a while. We know we're going to keep Dante and Mephisto. We're going to get that new Death Company Brutalis, which is now just going to replace the Death Company Dreadnought. We're going to keep the Death Company Intercessors, but I guess they're going to get some better options. They might actually just get renamed Death Company Marines, but regardless, we are losing the firstborn Death Company Marines. We're going to get Death Company with jump packs, but they are going to be the new Primaris ones, so we're going to lose a lot of the weapon options. We know that. Let's hover over the Furioso and Librarian Dreadnought in the moment, in that the box that has them is going to be a bit weird because that box also makes the old Firstborn Death Company kit, I guess. So there's a question mark around the Furioso and Lamartez. I think we're going to lose Seth as well. Sorry, Flesh Tears players. I don't make the rules. Seth hates the Primaris in the lore, and I think they're going to use that to just get rid of him for a little while. I think he will come back at Primaris, but he's been off sale for a while as well, so I'm not expecting to see Seth. Lamarta's getting a new model. Sangary Priest is getting a new model. Sanguinary Guard are rumoured to get new models. There's probably going to be an announcement next Monday, so come back to the channel next week. Subscribe. I suppose is a good time to say subscribe, and I'll keep you up to date next week. I think we're going to lose that Sanguinary Priest with jump pack. The Sanguiner is apparently going to get a new model again. That might be coming out next Monday. And then Tycho the Lost. So if we talk about that, and if you ignore the 2 Dreadnoughts, that gives us 11 data sheets. So if you added back those 2 Dreadnoughts, then you are precisely on 13. So we don't remove any of the armor. We're just removing characters, firstborn characters. And then we have to add this new captain, right? Because you're not going to be able to field a captain with an Infernal Pistol and a Chainsword, because that doesn't exist. And I think what they're going to do is, I think they're going to change the rules on that captain. Because let's face it, like, Tycho's rule of, like, giving a unit rapid fire or assault weapons was a bit all over the place. Tycho the Lost is a bit irrelevant now because he can't attach. So I think that new captain is going to have a rule. I think it's going to be a melee-focused rule. And I think it's going to be something like what Gabriel Seth had. Rather than like the finest hour captain you see in the Space Marine Codex, I think, personally, is going to be some sort of like Whirlwind of Rage rule. So for every model within 6 inches, you get an extra attack. Or sorry, every 5 models or something. So I think that's going to be intended to replace Corbulo and Seth and give you that cool new captain for now. And I guess the reason I think that as well is like, that would let you make any successor chapter you wanted with the Blood Angels. And Blood Angels do have, like, Lamenters, and we do have, like, the Flesh Tearers, and we know we're getting transfers for Flesh Tearers, at least. So I think that was their intent. This captain, we already saw pictures of him in 2 different poses. there's a leak I've seen today in Discord of him in Death Company armor, so potentially like 3 or 4 different poses for that new captain. So I think that's their like catch-all to give us a character that's like a melee. He's like a melee time bomber. He's very, very powerful in melee. And here's the thing: you normally wouldn't equip a captain with a chainsword, right? It wouldn't be a good choice, right? Especially when you can have a relic blade, or especially when you can have a power fist. There's almost no point to have the chainsword unless there's some sort of special rule that, like Gabriel Seth, you know, like his crazy Blood Reaper chainsword. I don't play Flesh Tears so much, but sorry. So that's what I think is going to happen. We'll know more next Monday, so come back next Monday. But I think something like this is probably what we can expect. We are going to lose quite a lot. But I guess we are now back to sort of like a more baseline number of units. So hopefully that means in the future, like 11th edition, we will scale up with more releases. But now I guess this brings us back, gets rid of all the firstborn characters in one fell swoop. The armor is a whole other question. But I think that's where we're going, guys. There's also one other thing to say. So many of people have asked, is the Death Company Dreadnought keeping his frenzied reprisal rule, which is when you get fought or shot at, you can shoot back or fight again. I have heard a rumour that his rule is going to change to the same as like the World Eaters. So anytime he is shot, he can move D6 towards the nearest enemy, or the enemy that shot him, basically. He needs to finish closer to that model, and it's called something like Blood Surge. And I think that would make a lot more sense, because if he is Death Company, he's probably re-rolling all his hits, he probably has a Feel No Pain, he probably has Twin Linked already. So if he was re-rolling hits and re-rolling wounds, because he's, you know, Death Company and Twin Linked, that's crazy powerful, and I think they're probably going to want to stop that. I mean, I think they know Frenzied Reprisal is very, very strong. I think Blood Surge is still super cool, right? Like, the Death Company Dreadnought's just getting closer to your opponent every time you shoot them. 12 wounds, toughness 10, 2 up save, 6 up Feel No Pain. I think it's still crazy strong, but yeah, that's what I've heard. Don't know if it's true, but I think that would make more sense than the Frenzied Reprisal. So, thank you so much for watching. Leave a million comments in the down below with your opinions. I will respond to as many as I can, like last week. If you didn't see the video last week about all the other new Death Company releases, I'll put it up above right now. You should definitely check it out. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, and remember, you can support the channel by subscribing or joining us either as a YouTube member or on Patreon, and access to our members only Discord room. I will catch you later this week. On Thursday night, we have a rematch of the final of the GT. Blood Angels versus Bully Boy Orcs. It will be an epic game, so join us 7 PM UK time Thursday night for possibly one of the most close and epic Warhammer 40,000 games you've ever seen live. I'll see you then. By the blood are we made strong, my friends. Or my brothers. Brothers, peace.